Hello everybody, Broke Boy back again with another video. And I didn't even want to do a video today, guys, because I'm completely heartbroken at the Wimbledon final between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. And as you probably know by now, Carlos Alcaraz won in 5 sets. He lost the first set 6-1. Then he came back, won the second set in a tie break, took it 7-6. Then he took the third set 6-1. And then he lost the fourth set 6-3. But then he regrouped and he finally won the final set 6-4. So Carlos Alcaraz is the 2023 Wimbledon champion, and he deserved it. So all I can say is congrats to him. I'm not going to make any excuse. There is no excuse. He was just a better player and he won. Simple as that. So congratulations to him. But of course I'm very disappointed, and because I really wanted Djokovic to win the calendar Grand Slam, but no, I don't think that's ever going to happen, because winning majors, he's already 36 years old. It's only going to get harder. I don't really see how he's going to win French Open again. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised how he won it this year. But it's not easy to win that. Clay is a very physical surface, and when you get older, it's obviously going to be harder to sustain the physicality you need to win 7 best-of-5 set matches against people who are, for the most part, younger than you by like 10 years or even more sometimes. So, but he somehow won the French Open this year, so I thought this was a really good chance, maybe his best chance. I mean, 2 years ago he was really close too, but I thought this was a really good chance and maybe the last chance he would have to win the calendar slam. But now that's over, and it's time to move on. It was a good try, but it looks like that's not going to happen, so we'll just have to accept that. But you know, at least he's still the greatest player ever. I mean, this match doesn't change that. It's just really disappointing as a fan, because, you know, like I just said, it was a really good chance for the calendar slam, but now it's gone. But anyway, I mean, he probably would have lost in the US Open again anyway, since he always throws there. Hasn't won in like 5 years. He always loses in the final, like 3 out of 9 finals he's won. So I don't know, maybe that would have made it even more heartbreaking, but now it's just time to accept the result. So what can we say about the match? Carlos Alcaraz was clearly the better player, and at the beginning, I woke up in time to watch the match. I started watching it, and then Djokovic, he came out guns a-blazing and won the first set 6-1, and I thought, okay, this is going pretty well. But of course I was not sitting high and mighty or taking it for granted or anything like that, because I'm like, Carlos Alcaraz, you know, he's probably just nervous. It's his first time in a Wimbledon final. He's still only 20 years old. I mean, I could just imagine how nerve-wracking it would be for someone to play in a Wimbledon final. That's like the biggest match in all of tennis, because Wimbledon is like the most prestigious tournament. That's what it's considered, and the final would obviously be the biggest match there. So I was just thinking how nerve-wracking it would be to play in that stadium with thousands of people watching you, the biggest occasion in tennis, and it's so quiet in there sometimes. Seems like such a pressurized environment. So I thought that must be really nerve-wracking, and understandably, Carlos Alcaraz, he had nerves. So he did not play his best tennis in that set, and before he knew it, Djokovic, the more experienced player, was able to run away with the set 6-1. And then the second set started, and it was going with serve. They were holding on to their serves. They were maybe challenged in some of the games, but there were no breaks of serve. They played a really intense 10th game when Djokovic was serving at 4-5, and then Alcaraz, I don't think he had a set point, but he almost got to set point, and a really intense game. Djokovic was even a little lucky there, I think. I think he hit the tape in a couple of points there, maybe 1 or 2 points or something, and he was able to get through that game and hold to get to 5-all. And then they each held one more time, and it entered into a second set tiebreak. And then at that point, I stopped watching the match because I was at church and I had to pay attention to the service rather than being on my phone. So I turned off my phone and I put it in my pocket, and then I listened to the sermon at my church, and it was kind of ironic because it was about anxiety, and that entire time I was just, of course, being anxious about the match. I don't know, it's kind of impossible not to, since that's just what was going on. And I really, really wanted Djokovic to win, but I didn't watch the match until the entire service ended. Then I whipped out my phone from my pocket and I turned it on. And my reward for not looking at my phone and actually paying attention in the service was that Alcaraz won the second set tiebreak 8-6. He snapped Djokovic's streak of 14 consecutive Grand Slam tiebreaks, 14 or 15 or something like that. He won it 8-6. And when I started watching the match again, he was up 4-1, a double break in the third set. So I'm like, this is not going very well. And I started to sink into depression. And then I learned only later that Djokovic made some uncharacteristic backhand errors in the tiebreak, which he really kind of did the entire match. Maybe he missed a bunch of shots that he just should have made. He just missed them. I don't know why he just missed them. And so that cost him that tiebreak. He had a set point, but he couldn't convert. I think he just missed a relatively simple backhand or something. Who knows why that happened? He just did. And then I learned there was like an epic game in the fifth game of the third set, with Djokovic serving at 1-3 down an early break, and there were 13 deuces, I heard, or something like that. And Alcaraz eventually won that game to make it 4-1 in a double break. And it was at that point when I resumed watching the match. And then Djokovic, of course, he threw the rest of that third set and didn't really try his best to win games, because why would you waste energy at that point? Down double break on grass, you may as well concede the set. So Alcaraz broke his serve one more time, and Alcaraz took that third set 6-1. And then they went into the fourth set, and I was just staying in the sanctuary by myself, and everyone had left. They eventually turned off the lights, and I was just sitting there. And Djokovic, he eventually got up a break in the beginning of that fourth set. And then people were like, oh, people who knew me and saw me, because they know that I'm really into tennis, they saw me and they said, oh, he's up a break. And I'm like, yeah, well, the kid has been almost breaking him in every service game, so it's not guaranteed. But I was a little more at ease because it looked like he could keep on holding on to his serve and take the set, and that's what he did. He eventually was able to keep holding serve, and he took that fourth set 6-3. And then it got into the fifth set, and at this point I was leaving church and walking away, and I was still watching the match on my phone. And in the second game of that fifth set, when Alcaraz was serving at love 1, Djokovic, he made a break point, and he was dictating the rally. He was in control of the points, and then he missed a swinging forehand volley that would have, had he made it, he most likely would have won the points and would have been able to break Carlos Alcaraz's serve, and that would have given him a huge advantage in the fifth set of the match and maybe allowed him to win the match. But he missed that swinging forehand volley, and he could have let it bounce and just made it an overhead. But at that point I was also very nervous because we all know Djokovic, his overhead is probably the worst part of his game, so maybe he would have missed that as well. But on a bounce smash, a pro tennis player really should not miss, so maybe he could have just let that bounce. It looked like a rather simple shot, really, but he chose to take it on drive volley, and he hit it in the net. And after that, it was lights out for him, and Alcaraz held his serve, and then he broke Novak Djokovic's serve in the next game of the match, and I said, "It's over." He threw. I said, "It's over." And then I stopped watching for a few minutes, turned it back on. I watched almost the entirety of the rest of it. Alcaraz was serving it out at 5-4. He serves on the first point. He tries a backhand drop shot, and I'm thinking Djokovic is doomed. He's not going to get it, but the drop shot barely doesn't make it over. It goes into the net, and I'm like, okay, there's still a chance. I was trying to hold on to hope the whole time. And so then it was love 15. But then Alcaraz, he served again on the ad side, and they had a little rally, and then Alcaraz did another forehand drop shot. And Djokovic, he used every fiber in his being to force himself to reach it, and he did, and he had a nice looking, decent approach, backhand slice down the line as a return off of that drop shot. And I thought, okay, maybe Alcaraz can't pass him from there, but Alcaraz, the super talented player that he is, he produced a brilliant forehand topspin lob, and Djokovic, he just couldn't reach it, and it was a winner, and that was Alcaraz's point. And then that made it 15-all. And then I don't even know what happened after that. Djokovic, I know he missed a return at some point, and then he had another point where Alcaraz, on the first ball forehand after Djokovic's return, he didn't get a clean hit on it, so Djokovic, he pounced on it, and then he hit it back behind for a winner. So it was 30-all, and then I forgot what happened at the 15-all point, but when it was 30-all, Alcaraz served, and Djokovic, he lunged for it with his backhand, but he couldn't get the ball into the court. The ball went long, and then it was match points, and then Alcaraz, on the ad side, he made another first serve. Djokovic got it back, but he couldn't get anything on the return. It was just a backhand return, and it went only a little past the service line. So Alcaraz, with his brilliant bullet forehand, he took it on. He drove the forehand cross court, and Djokovic, he just wasn't quick enough to get into a good position for it. And either way, it would have been very difficult to pass Alcaraz with that amazing forehand of his that he got off of a slow ball. So Djokovic, he just reached for it. He lunged, he tried to claw at the ball to make like a squash shot, but his squash shot, it hit the tape, and that was it. Alcaraz won the match. He became the new 2023 Wimbledon champion. He snapped Novak Djokovic's streak of 4 consecutive Wimbledons. He won in 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2022 because the championships was cancelled in 2020. And he snapped his streak of 34 wins at Wimbledon, something like that. And he became the first time Wimbledon champion, which is overall his second Grand Slam. So now he has won the 2022 US Open on like his probably like second or third appearance, probably like his second, I think. And he has now won the 2023 Wimbledon Championships on his, I believe, his third appearance. So he has won 2 Grand Slams, which is more than like anybody else in this era. Obviously, the only people who have won more are Federer, but he's retired now. Obviously, Nadal, Djokovic, and Andy Murray and Wawrinka. Those two have each won 3 Grand Slams, but they are also near the end of their career. So Carlos Alcaraz now has 2 Grand Slams, and that's actually incredible in the era we're living in, because hardly anyone has been able to win anything who is not named Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. So big congrats. I mean, this kid, he's not the future, he's the present, and he's the real deal. He deserved it. He was just a better player. Djokovic, he didn't take his chances when he had them. He just didn't return as well as he sometimes has done. Missed some shots that he should have made maybe, but Alcaraz, he was just a better player, and like the way it happens and the way it goes, the better player won, and Alcaraz deserved to win. So all I can say is congratulations to him, and he's an extremely talented player. And the US Open, well, now it's going to be very interesting, because we don't know who can stop Alcaraz there. We know Sinner got very close, but you know, who knows? It's just going to be a wild ride. But yeah, like I said, congratulations to him, but I'm just very, very disappointed because I really wanted Djokovic to win this one, just because of the calendar slam. And yeah, but Djokovic, he's still the greatest player of all time. I mean, this doesn't really take away from that. He still holds pretty much all the most important records, still broke new records over the course of this tournament. But yeah, this one hurts just because it was such a good chance to get the calendar slam, and we may never see it again. But anyway, that's basically it for this video. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And take care. We're gonna take a break from watching tennis for a little while.